Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die. I will ride with this group. Seriously, man. Please. And away we go.
Write this down.
It is a Write That Down Wednesday here on Purple Daily and on the OG podcast, Mackey and Judd, Minnesota Sports with Mackey and Judd. The only shows in America that actually put statistics next to our predictions. We're also finding out that you can be wrong on days that aren't Wednesday, as I proved yesterday and now these reports coming out too that, boy, it's going to be tough for Darnold to even get like $30 million a year. It's fascinating, the new reporting, even from the tag deadline yesterday. We will get into some of that. Judd was ranting on the text thread about some of this too, so maybe we can pull another rant out of Judd. Why don't you rant about the greatness of Quick Trip before we do anything here?
Rant, I'll praise them. Because guess what? If you are craving something delicious on this wintry day and you're going to work and you do not want to stop at the grocery store, stop at Quick Trip. You know why? Because the food is here, and the food is absolutely delicious. We're talking apps. We're talking breakfast, lunch, dinner. We are talking whatever you need. As if you are actually watching this now, you are looking at the delicious food choices at Quick Trip. And you know what? Fresh, fast, easy for me to say, and packed with flavor. Absolutely fantastic. Fuel your day with quality taste at Quick Trip. And guess what? If that gas tank is near E, you can fill up the car as well. And if you do not want to go inside, you can use the app on your phone. They will bring it out to you. Quick Trip, the food is here, and life is as simple as it gets because of your friends at Quick Trip.
Can you say that 5 times fast? Fresh.
The copy is fresh, fast, and packed with flavor. But
packed with flavor.
But
fresh,
the FF caught me on the A of and.
But then there's the F on the flavor wrapping around.
Yeah,
that's
a lot of Fs. It's funny because you look at copy points at times, and it's like they read great, right? But then when you say them out loud, it's like, okay, 3 Fs. Probably one too many Fs.
Yeah, we can consult the copywriters here, the copywriting department.
Yeah, change my teleprompter, Stella.
The NABC copy is fantastic. North American Banking Company is powering Write That Down every single Wednesday here. It's a Minnesota-based banking company, and whether you're looking for just a better checking savings experience, or maybe you're planning a big move, buying a home, starting a business, financing something big, North American Banking Company can be there for you with 6 locations across the Twin Cities: Maple Grove, Roseville, Shoreview, Hastings, Woodbury, 50th in France. Friendly, knowledgeable people, face-to-face relationships, cutting-edge online tools, and based in Minnesota, helping Minnesotans specifically. nabankco.com/Mackey to learn more. That's nabankco.com/Mackey. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Write this down.
All right, who wants to be held accountable? Raise your hand.
Well, I will. I know I will.
It's going to happen. It just happens. It's not a want. It's a given.
It is a given. Judd, you actually had a pretty good week here, all things considered. 4 things came off the board. We'll start with the bad. I should explain, too, for people that maybe are jumping in for the first time. Can you see this or no?
No.
It's super weird. There we go.
Now I can. That's weird.
Okay.
It was
I think our site's having some bugs this morning. So
snowed too much.
Internet gremlins.
StreamYard's out. Too much snow.
It's like a foot of just back altering snow that's weighing down on this website right now. So it's 3 Vikings or football related predictions from everybody each week. They must be quantifiable. We keep track of completion percentages and touchdowns. And if you want to participate as a guest listener predictor, like Brett is going to here shortly, you can send Declan a message through the Score North app. All right, let's see if this flips. There we go. All right, so Judd, we'll start with the bad. You said Arian Smith will run the fastest 40-yard dash at the Combine last week.
He said he would.
He lied.
He did lie. His teammate beat him, right?
Yeah, he was like 7th, I want to say.
Yeah, it was not good.
Slowpoke. Still like a 4.36 or something ridiculous. You said, I guess technically the Commanders could trade Deebo Samuel to the Chargers, but you said Deebo Samuel will play for the Chargers in 2025.
Yep. If it changes, it changes, but I don't think it will now. So it's fair.
Yes, if somehow that's a deadline deal that goes down, we can revisit. You said Matthew Stafford will stay with the 2025 Rams. And you said the Vikings would not use the franchise tag on Sam Darnold. Well, there we go. All right, I had one thing come off the board. I incorrectly said, pounding the table for months, that the Vikings could, should, and would franchise Sam Darnold with the intent to trade him. And I was clowned all day on the internet yesterday, rightfully so. Listeners had nothing come off the board, so we'll highlight this prediction from David, the oldest prediction on the board for the listeners going back 3 years. The Timberwolves will win a championship before the Vikings. I mean, they're going to get their first crack at it here in 2025 because, like they'll be in the playoffs. Kind of neck and neck, I feel like. Couple teams that they're not at the top, but they've got some interesting players and they're competitive.
Right. Yeah, I'm trying to think at the moment, which franchise do we feel better about? Like at the moment, I think the Vikings right now, but it could change.
Yeah, what would, like if an odds report came out, I think the Vikings would be slight favorites here.
But not by a lot. Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm. And then Declan had two things come off the board, both red. You said somebody will break the record for the fastest 3-cone drill at this year's NFL Combine. I think we were a tenth of a second off on that one. I think it's a 6.55 record.
Yeah.
I believe it was 6.65 was the fastest 3-cone drill.
Correct.
And then you said at least 3 players will run a sub 4.3 40-yard dash at the Combine. 2 of them did, and somebody else clocked in exactly at 4.3.
I think a couple. I think there might have been 1 or 2 of 4.3. So just real tough beat here. Real tough beat.
So with that, it's early here. Listeners are, I think, 1 for 1 in their completion percentage. So they're 100% completions. Judd 40%. Dex and I still looking for our first completions on the season. Super Bowl to Super Bowl is the calendar year. Nobody has any touchdowns yet. All time, Declan leads with a 36.5% completion percentage. Judd 34.5%. I'm at 33.5%. Listeners 24%. But listeners lead the touchdown category with 60 career touchdowns. So that's the accountability session. All right, let's get Brett in here. Guest listener predictor Brett. He braved the elements last night. He stayed at Target Center. Did you stay till the end of that game?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. So, yeah, I got an Uber relatively decent priced on the way home, so it was all good. So
they'll hit you with that surge pricing.
No, you gotta wait at least like 15 minutes after the game. It was like 35 coming out of Target Center, but I got like 12 or 13 . So,
that's good call. That's not bad at all.
Walk away too. Just request it from not in front of the damn arena too. Well,
yep. Just go to a bar or somewhere near for like 10 minutes, and you should be good.
Just walk down to Augie's, hang out right outside.
I did not go there. I did not go
Skyway. Just hit the Skyway.
You could. So, Brett, welcome in. Give us your background as a Vikings fan.
It's probably the most classic one. I was 7, I think, when I started watching them. 98. That was the first year I was really invested into any sport. And the best way I can describe it at that age is the Vikings were like real life superheroes, basically. Like that's what they seem like.
Yeah.
And you just didn't think they could do anything wrong. Like as a 7-year-old, you don't know better. And then it'd be like if the Joker stabbed Batman, and that's the end of the movie. That's just how superhero. Yeah, that's how it ends. So I watched the kick got missed, and I slammed my door shut, crying. And my dad told me, I've been dealing with this for 40 years. You're gonna have to get used to it. So that was where it started, and I went to all the training camp. Like almost every year, I went to training camp as a kid and hounded for autographs and all that stuff. So that's where it started.
Batman lining up for a 38-yard field goal. Hasn't missed a field goal all season, Batman.
Yeah. That's dark but brilliant. Like I love that idea. What a great way to end a film.
Yeah, it's just like it just scars you. I mean, like I don't think like I know like it's obviously biased, but that's like a line in the sand. I feel like I know 09's similar, but at that age when you see that, like you just can't ever have like complete. It stinks because you want to, but it's hard to ever have complete faith in any team in this market after that.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just
it's why
unbelievable.
sports therapists like Judd exist in today's world.
That, my friend, is called a life lesson at a very young age. Very, you know what though? That sets you up for a life of being cynical and questioning things, which actually is very smart.
Yeah,
So like
yeah.
that day shaped you.
Oh yeah, it's unfortunately a where were you moment, So for Vikings fans,
Oh yeah.
It hardened you. It impacted personal relationships, most likely, with things
How
manifesting.
about your dad though? And he's exactly right, saying you're like crying
yeah,
and you look to dad to like have some soothing words, and
yeah,
dad's like, hey, listen, I've been putting up with this for years, kid.
yeah, yeah.
So, all right, Brett, we're going to start with you with your first prediction, and then we'll go around the room 3 times, as always. Brett, Judd, Dex, me. So you're under center.
Okay. I've been all over as everyone has been. I think I'm going to settle with this for the prediction. Write this down. The AAV of Sam Darnold's next contract will be $25 million or less.
I mean, it's crazy how far there was a point in like, and by the way, I'm not even like clowning you, because apparently, based on all the reporting, that's where we're at with this thing.
I originally started at the cap inflated Baker deal. And then I was like, maybe I don't know what the guarantees, maybe 100 million or less. And now I'm gonna go with that as the final. Like it seems crazy, but I think Kirk's deal last year was kind of the straw that just broke the camel's back.
Yeah,
I think
and
teams are really
Deshaun
scared now.
Watson.
Yeah, I think
It's
teams
been
are
one.
scared now.
It's crazy that it's kind of classic Vikings bad luck too, where all these quarterbacks, Jordan Love plays 8 great games and he's worth a 200 some $1 million contract, and the Cousins coming off an Achilles is worth 100 whatever bajillion $180 million. And in a year where it'd be great if that escalator continued to climb and there'd be value to tag and trade, as we've talked about for several weeks. But of course, this is the line that the team's finally drawn in the sand, as the Vikings are the ones standing in the front of the line saying, hey, wait, can we get a couple picks for this guy? They're like,
Yeah,
no, we saw those last 2 games. So
yeah,
teams apparently are weighing the last 2 games.
Yeah.
They're basically equating it to, oh, he's reverted back to the Jets version, so therefore he's entirely worthless as a high-end starting quarterback.
I'm not buying the whole thing though. Like I don't know. The reporting has been so spotty that
it's
I'm
all over
not
the
I'm
place.
not sure he's not going to get paid. But I will say this: there's no way that anyone with any common sense could watch those last 2 games and dismiss them. Like I asked O'Connell at the end. I said, I know that you look at the body of work, but you got to look at those last 2 games. They were alarming, and I did see a report in the Star Tribune. I forget who wrote this, that, and I hadn't read or heard this, but evidently the coaching staff has been trying to sell the narrative that they were more at fault for the Rams game. Like they're like, the
Saw
Detroit
that
game was
too.
bad, but we're more at fault for the Rams game.
But
So I
that's all part of. Don't you
yeah
think that, because the Vikings, even though they
yes
didn't tag him, it is the Vikings have a week now, and whatever time leading up to this week, they would be best served to bloat the value of Darnold, because at this point, the more he signs for, the
yep
better chance they have in the comp pick formula
yes
to get a 3rd round pick in 2026.
right.
So of course, like, yeah, we want him, even if you don't want him back. And we have to parse apart, do they really want him back, according to Schefter, Rappaport, all these guys, even after 3 p.m. yesterday? Or is it their duty at this point, between now and Monday, to be the first bidder and make sure that there's a second and a third, and it gets him
They're at
up
the
to
auction.
$40
They're like,
million dollars or
we'll
something?
bid
Yeah.
on what? We're stuck with it.
Dude, I was in a fantasy baseball auction, like a 16-team league, for 20 years. And it was these guys were the smartest baseball people I ever played a fantasy league with, because they knew the AA prospects for these deep rosters. And so you'd throw players out, you'd try to get the bidding going. And I remember one year, John Garland won 20 games the year before or something. And I didn't want him because he doesn't strike anybody out. And I thought it was a fluke. And I was like, John Garland, $20. Crickets. And I'd be curious, like if the Vikings are that guy in the fantasy league,
It's a terrible feeling.
what is the number that they are
I've been there.
portraying? Is it 30 million? And then okay, now that's a safe number for teams to build off of, or I don't know.
I think there's a lot. I think part of the problem here too is I think that there's so much misinformation that people are just reporting what they're told last. So it'll be very interesting come Monday to see what the figure is. I don't think it's going to be as little as is being speculated now. Probably not going to be as much as we originally expected. So
Classic pitch to contact error. I know this is Purple Daily, but John Garland won 18 games with a 4.5 ERA in 2006.
It was 18 years.
I once trying to cut to the chase in a basketball league threw out Thunder Dan Marley at $1. So like we bid like a quarter on guys and stuff.
Yeah.
Thunder Dan for $1. I thought I could get like the bidding would start. There's zero bidding.
Oh, so you got stuck with like aging Dan Marley.
And my buddy in the league was very pissed off at my hubris. Okay, write this down. Vikings QB rehab school, far from done. It's always a thing. It's a Kevin O'Connell side project. So Anthony Richardson will be on the Vikings roster by the end of the 2027 season.
I love the
Anthony
long-term
Richardson
projection
will
here.
be. Yep. I wanted to go long term, but not beyond 27. But I need some time for the Colts. Like the Colts are probably going to try to play him a few times in 2025. He's a high first round pick. But I think by the end of the 27 season, so 26 or 27, I can see him entering the O'Connell quarterback rehab school.
Okay. All right, over to Dex.
Write this down. All right, write this down. I have all kind of free agency related predictions because some of this stuff could come off the board by next week. But write this one down instead. I'll start with this one. Sam Darnold signs with an AFC team. I don't believe that he's coming back here. I saw Bookies has the odds on this. So right now the Raiders are the favorites still at plus 350, but then the Giants and Vikings are the next two in terms of favorites to land Darnold. I think it's AFC. I think it's the Raiders, Steelers, Browns are even in play. So I'm going to put a quantifiable that he will sign with an AFC team. Write it down.
The Steelers are shockingly absent from this entire conversation. A little too absent, if you ask me.
Yeah,
although I've been wrong every step of the way on this. So take everything I say about this with a giant block of salt.
The Steelers thing is weird. Either Fields or Wilson is going back for sure, or that's what they want you to believe.
Why?
I'm taking Dora too. I think they want you to believe that. It probably does them no good to be like, at the end of the day, if you don't leak stuff, it's probably smart. But I just can't imagine. I mean, Russell Wilson at this point in time, at this age, he ain't the answer. So, I agree with you on the Steelers.
and I mean, the degree to which they think Justin Fields is the answer was sort of spoken in week 4 last year. It's like, wow, we benched him for Russell Wilson, and the offense was good for a month. Okay, write this down.
Write this down.
The Bears have done the Vikings a favor. Well, the Bears have made their offensive line better by trading for 2 new starting linemen this week. Jonah Jackson, starting center from the Rams, and Joe Thuney for a 4th-round pick. He was, at the end of the season, he was the starting left tackle, completely out of position for the Chiefs, but he has been one of the best guards in the NFL for years. So the Bears trade a 5th and a 4th for 40% new starters along their offensive line. That might be bad news for the Vikings because, like, the Bears just got better. But the Bears didn't tap into the free agent market where the Vikings are likely to go grab at least 1 or 2 offensive linemen. So write this down. The Vikings will sign either Patrick McCarry and or Will Fries. I'm going to lean into our blueprint from earlier this week. So I could see a scenario where they sign both those guys, but I'll say Patrick McCarry and or Will Fries will be Minnesota Vikings for 2025.
Write that down.
Okay, back to Brett.
All right. Write this down. The Vikings will draft at least one of these 3 running backs. R.J. Harvey, Travion Henderson, or DJ Giddens.
Okay.
It's we'll see if it comes true, but I like those guys. So
Yeah, those guys are all kind of like day 2.
Yeah.
You may have to move back to get a pick in there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess there's a chance that like RJ Harvey could be there later in the 3rd round, but day 2-ish.
And I haven't heard as much or seen as much on Giddens, but I think he had a pretty good combine. And I don't know, he's decent. He's a decent size. Like he's kind of like a bigger Aaron Jones almost. The little I've seen. So
Yeah,
I'm not an expert with that stuff, but that's kind of what I see him as. So
We'll tap into one tomorrow on Thursday.
Write it down. You like writing things down?
Thor was all over he was in Indianapolis for like the whole long weekend.
Yeah.
Went to St. Elmo's for his first spicy shrimp experience.
He got
Very
all the
excited.
gear too.
Yeah, he had like a full combine tracksuit that he
Yeah.
had. I don't know. I think he just wore that the whole weekend. Not sure he did laundry. We can ask him about that too.
Yeah, it's okay.
Back to Judd here.
It looked very comfortable. Okay, the Vikings will have, by the time free agency starts on Wednesday, so the tampering period starts on Monday. The Vikings will have reportedly, because they can't officially announce it, will have reportedly reached multi-year deals with a guard and a defensive tackle.
Okay.
So they'll be, the quantifiable thing here is they'll be guys that are paid a lot.
So
I kind of like the. Go ahead, Dex.
on Monday or Wednesday.
By Wednesday.
By
So, but
Wednesday.
it'll
By
yeah,
Wednesday,
yeah. So like it'll be
Wanna make
because
sure.
the deals get reported
Yeah.
the first 2 days,
Yeah.
and it's weird. The opening of free agency now itself is not as exciting, and ordinarily you just get like the press release will come out probably at sometime on Wednesday.
Jeremy Fowler, ESPN reporting, this ties in with our Blueprint episode from Monday. Teams were notified that 49ers defensive tackle Javon Hargrave, who will be a post-June 1st release by the team. So this is all salary cap mechanics. But the Niners are going to release him for salary cap relief because they're trying to clear room for like Brock Purdy and whatever else. So his cap will be like split between this year and next year, the hit on their books. But he becomes available for teams to sign for the league year on March 12th. He's 32. He was injured with the triceps. His camp said, hey, he's healthy coming off the tricep injury. He's ready to rock and roll. That could be a great little like 2-year contract. Go draft a young player. You already got Harrison Phillips in the mix. So I love the Javon Hargrave idea for probably half of what, I don't know. He's not a $20 million guy at this point with the injury and the age. But if you could get a guy like that who plays at like a top 8 level at that position, let's go.
Write this down.
In fact, Dex, you go first. Go ahead.
Write this down. Sorry, I was also not on the same page there. So by Friday of March 14th, so we'll have 48 hours past the free agency window. By next Friday, the Vikings will dish out at least $75 million of guaranteed money to free agents.
By what? By Friday?
By Friday.
Okay.
So they'll and obviously the guaranteed money they can spread across, but I think they're going to be big players very early. So $75 million of guaranteed money, not the reported contracts or the guarantees that come out I should say by end of day Friday. Let's call it 5 p.m. Let's call it 5 p.m. Friday because I don't want it to be like
Eastern
midnight.
time or Central time?
Let's go Central. Central, just in case one of those late ones sneaks in there for a Friday news dump. So by 5 p.m. Central on Friday, March 14th.
And I think to piggyback, I think one of them might be Javon Hargrave. So write this down. I love this idea. This was floated by Alec Lewis from The Athletic, and he had maybe heard some rumblings at the Combine that, like, at this point, Milton Williams, who was a rotation player in Philadelphia, interior pass rusher, and he's a guy that if you talk about Sam Darnold, the last thing you remember about him is just curling up in the fetal position in the 2 biggest games. The last thing you remember about Milton Williams is dominating the Super Bowl. So his value's on the rise. You might overpay for a guy that's probably more of a rotation player. And I think the Vikings are going to say, listen, let's spend some big money on offensive line. Let's go get Javon Hargrave for a little less and then focus on a rich defensive tackle draft. So write this down. I'll say this. There will be a credible report linking the Vikings to Javon Hargrave by 5 o'clock Central Time on Friday. I will align with Declan's timeline.
Write this down.
5 o'clock. It could be 6 o'clock. What if it's 6 o'clock?
Then I lose.
Then we lose.
That's a bad beat.
Ooh, terrible.
Yep. Okay, over to Brett for your third and final prediction.
All right. Write this down. Looking forward a bit, and unfortunately, hopefully this doesn't happen, but Christian Darrisaw will not be the left tackle for game one of the regular season for the Vikings.
Wow, a little pup list or
Yeah, I think
something?
it's kind of going a little forgotten. Like his timeline is obviously sooner than what Hawkinson's was by a long shot, but
Yeah.
it's going to be right on the edge, I think, of if he's going to be able to start or not. So I think that'll become a talker once training camp gets going. Something that we're kind of pushing aside because of all the free agents right now, but
Yeah.
it'll turn into the light. It'll be focused more down the road.
Brace it up. That's what I got to say. Brace that sucker up. You're a tackle, man. Just put that big brace on your knee and go play football.
Wow.
Sport you were born to play.
The medical advice.
Mm.
What can't Judd offer advice on? Parenting,
Yep.
home repairs, medical.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
So, Brett, awesome predictions. Since you've got this life-altering platform right now here, is there anyone you'd like to thank that helped you get here today?
Yeah, probably like I said earlier. My dad, he was a huge Vikings fan. He unfortunately passed away late last year, so the one before I die always rings true when I think of him and that,
Yeah.
He watched basically every game. Always angry watching them, understandably, and also the International Dynasty League I'm in keeps me on my toes. I met up with most of them at the London game, the Vikings London game, which was a lot of fun. So they keep me on my toes with the NFL throughout the whole year. So beyond the Vikings, but they hear plenty about the Vikings from me, and it gets annoying to them, but it's how it goes. So
Love it, man. Brett, great work today.
yeah.
Hopefully we do it again sometime.
All right, awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Brett.
Enjoy free agency frenzy bonanza week next week. We have coming up on Monday the tickets to the 2025 Purple Daily Draft Party becoming available for you guys. So here are the details, presented by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, by the way, for the 2025 Draft Party. It's our 4th annual. It's basically turned into just an annual celebration of you guys, the listeners of the show, Vikings fans, and we had so much fun at the Fillmore in Minneapolis last year that we want to go back there again. It's Thursday, April 24th at 7 p.m. is when night one of the NFL draft starts, and general admission and VIP tickets, they go on sale at 10 a.m. Central Time this Monday, March 10th. So as the free agency period opens, so does the ticket office for the Purple Daily Draft Party. Bookmark this site for 10 a.m. Central Time on Monday. ScoreNorth.com/draft. That's ScoreNorth.com/draft. And we hope to see as many of you as possible. The VIP experience, and you can read all about this, includes a hangout session with us beforehand, and you can meet the sports dad in the flesh, in person. Get your picture taken. He'll forget your name. It'll be great.
I will forget your name, but I'll take pictures. Don't expect me to smile. I don't smile in pictures.
No. In fact, I was on a call yesterday, and someone from our back office was like, "Hey, can we get some? Is there a photo of Judd smiling?" And I was like, "Buddy, come on now. Judd's been here for 11 years.
You know me, yeah. Come on.
Haven't seen one photo of Judd smiling. So
Judd, I don't like to smile in pictures. It looks goofy.
Maybe if it was a picture of you hanging out with MSP Plumbing and Heating, we could get you smiling, huh?
Absolutely. In fact, if my friend Nick was here right now, I'd be smiling ear to ear. Here's why: because MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air are people that you can trust. And now you're saying, "Oh, sports dad, come on." How do you know this? How do you know this? And I'm going to tell you right now because Nick was in my house yesterday installing a water heater and a softener. 31 years for the previous one. And guess what? Nick came in and in the span of about 3 or 4 hours, he put in a new one. And today, guess what? Folks, the water, it was nice. It was fresh. It was fantastic. MSP Plumbing, Heating and Air are the people that you can trust, and I'm telling you this from firsthand experience. So if you have any issues, if you need a guy, everyone needs a guy, they are the people to call. For service, give them a call, 651-615-4292, or check out their website, callmsp.com. Call MSP.com and learn what Sports Dad did, which is MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air is going to take care of you.
if you're a business owner, Federated Insurance is here to potentially help you, as they've been doing for over 120 plus years now, based in Owatonna, Minnesota. So the company roots are in Minnesota, but the branches and the tentacles span nationwide. So whether you are in Minnesota or any of the other 49 states, Federated can help you. They've got a list of industries they specialize in at federatedinsurance.com, but they put together a plan customized for your business to stay focused on safety, preventing claims, and risk management so you can stay focused on growing your business. We appreciate their longtime partnership to keep this a 365-day-a-year show on Purple Daily. Find out what they can do for your business, federatedinsurance.com, where it's our business to protect yours.
Write this down.
All right, final predictions. Judd.
All right. Daniel Jones will return to the Vikings on a 1-year contract worth between $10 to $12 million.
All right. To back up Sam Darnold, according to reports that I keep seeing.
Oh, you're doing this on purpose now. You're trying to troll me. You're trying to troll me.
Really excited for that.
Write this down.
Maybe that 5.0 blueprint that we put together a week and a half ago wasn't so unrealistic based on what Schefter said.
Oh boy. Dems fighting words. You want to go there? Dems fighting words with the PD family.
Well, maybe there was some foreshadowing. All right, Dex.
All right, write this down. The Vikings will sign a free agent cornerback with at least 3,000 defensive snaps. And a couple disclaimers here. Number one, Byron Murphy does not count towards this. And
Okay.
two, this will come off the board on March 19th, 2 weeks from now, accountability session. So I think they're going to sign a corner in free agency,
Yeah.
but it's not Byron Murphy.
And so in the next 2 weeks, you said.
Yeah,
you
in the
said
next,
that. Okay,
yeah,
got
yeah.
it.
So in the next 2 weeks, and 3,000 snaps, I feel like that's Asante
It's like
Samuel.
it's like 3 full seasons. Well, 3 full healthy seasons. It's any of the free agent like bigger name cornerbacks. Yeah.
Correct. So they'll sign a veteran corner, but Byron Murphy does not count towards this.
All right.
Write this down.
Okay, I'm going to give you an internal free agent parlay here. 3 guys. Write this down. Byron Murphy Jr. will return to the Vikings. Aaron Jones will return to the Vikings. Cam Bynum will not.
Okay.
That's my 3 internal free agent parlay right there. Byron Murphy back, Aaron Jones back, Cam Bynum, he gone. And those are the predictions here, boys.
Write this down.
Yep.
Yeah, I know, kind of.
Can't bring
Doogie's
them all
kind of
back.
been on the.
Can't bring them all back. It's that simple.
Nor should you. You got to start with your trenches and then work your way outside from there.
Start with Sam. You got to start with Sam. Clearly, Sam's the priority.
Well, I do have a mock for you guys, but, we got, 10, 15 minutes runway here. So the deadline hits yesterday at 3 o'clock Central Time to tag him, and the Vikings elected, and we did that episode yesterday because the reports had come out they're not going to tag him. So, I threw my little tantrum for 2 days. By the way, Blake Barrett's our friend, Minnesota-based agent from IFA. You know him. We both known him for a decade. And he clapped me a couple times on Twitter saying, you're oversimplifying the tag and like how easy it would be to tag and trade. And that's fine. There's other examples of tag and trades that happen. Devontae Adams and some other players before the league year. I just feel like I felt like there was a path, but obviously the market is what it is. And based on these reports, here's the latest, by the way. I think we figured, that was it yesterday. He's going to hit free agency on Monday, and the J.J. McCarthy era is beginning, and Sam's going to go find his home in Henderson, Nevada, or wherever.
Fly, Sam. Be free.
Yes, go back to New York and play for the Giants. Whatever you want to do, it's up to you.
Wings are going. Yeah, exactly.
But multiple national reports yesterday have the Vikings and Sam Darnold in conversations about returning for the 2025 season on a contract that would pay him less than $40 million a year. That the Vikings didn't feel comfortable with the franchise tag, but if it was in the $30-something million a year range, then they'd be comfortable bringing him back and doing the same song and dance as last year. And then I think attached to those reports is that, hey, based on the backroom whisperings in Indianapolis and the fallout from those last 2 games, he just doesn't have much of a market despite leading a team to 14 wins and 35 touchdowns. So And by the way, I'll throw one more thing out. Schefter went on his podcast and laid out more details. He thinks Darnold is going back to the Vikings. And I believe he threw out like 30 some million a year. I don't know if that'd be a 1-year deal or a 2-year deal. What do you make of all this?
I think it's insanity. I think it's absolutely crazy. I don't get it. It's driving me nuts. It actually, as I texted you, it's making me angry. I don't focus on a lot of things. We don't talk, and I don't care about
Dude,
politics.
Joe was like at dinner on a dinner date with his wife at Porzana last night,
Porzana. I took
and
some
he's
pictures.
like,
I can send them.
I can't even think about these Argentinian cuts. I'm so mad.
Seriously, it's pissing me off. It makes no sense. And I'm going to tell you right now, the Porzana, I don't know if you guys can see that.
Yeah.
It's glorious.
Oh my God, it's just glorious. And big PD fans, so that's awesome too.
Shout out, yeah.
Definitely. So I don't understand what's going on here. And I don't understand narratives, and I'm not buying anything. So I'm not buying, do I think the last 2 games hurt Darnold's market? Yeah, we've talked about that since those games. Do I think it killed it? Do I think he's not going to get paid now? No. Do I think he's going to break the bank? No. Do I think he's coming back here? If he comes back here, I think it's ridiculous. So I got to be honest at this point in time. I'm out on the reporting because it feels like the reporting is being driven by, as I said yesterday, a lack of common sense. And I don't blame these guys. They're insiders. They report what they're told. But it can be raining outside, and if the GM of the Bills says, "Oh no, this is sunny," the insiders are going to come in and say, "Oh, hold on a second, it's sunny outside," and we're like, "It's not sunny, it's raining outside." I feel like that's where we're at. We're in this insanity stage of, like, it's too much both ways. If the Vikings bring him back, and if they sign him to more than a 1-year contract. Trade McCarthy, which, by the way, I don't want. But
pick a path.
Right,
yeah.
exactly. But okay, let's dismiss that one and say that's not right. This whole thing of it started off from, well, he probably could get the Baker Mayfield contract, and then there was this brief period where it became, I think he's going to get more than that. I think he's going to get, more than Baker got, and now it's like he's sitting on the shelf at a flea market. And he's going to be free. Like it's like he's on my corner outside my house with the proverbial thing with Scotch tape that says, "Here's a quarterback. Take him if you want him." It's all too much. It doesn't make sense. He has a market. I refuse to believe he has no market. I think that's BS. Look at the quarterbacks out there, and there's not a lot. And the draft,
crazy.
Right? The Vikings, I agree, pick a path. If they bring him back, my confidence in right now an administration that I'm pretty confident in goes way down because you drafted one. So I'm calling BS on everything right now. And until I'm proven completely wrong, I'm going to go with what my brain tells me, because through the years, Phil, we've both covered sports a lot. What the insiders are trying to have us process makes zero sense in almost every way.
Two thoughts on that. I think, and again, I will say I've been wrong a lot on this the last couple weeks. I thought they were going to tag and trade him because I thought he's one of the 15 to 20, even with the crash landing, he's one of the 15 or 20 best quarterbacks. This is not a 7th round pick. I get the hesitation on Purdy and giving him the bag because he was a 7th round pick for a reason. He's not the toolsiest quarterback, and he drove this crazy sports car with all these weapons in the system. Darnold was Darnold was sort of the inverse of that for the first few years of his career, where he's this really talented dude stuck in these terrible situations, and you saw it all come together the way it was supposed to 5 years ago this year with the Vikings. I think what's happening is obvious. I think they're trying to bloat his value because the more he signs for, if they've decided we're moving into the McCarthy era, it still behooves the Vikings to play along in the negotiation and start the bidding somewhere, throw a number out in your fantasy football auction, right? Let's start the bidding here. Okay, yeah, Raiders. Okay, the Raiders are in. Oh, there's the Steelers coming in now. I can bow out. I didn't actually want that player, right? But it is their responsibility to see if he can get an extra year, an extra $5-10 million so that it factors into the 2026 comp pick equation where they might be able to get themselves a third-round pick. I think that's what's happening. If it's happening the other way, which is, yeah, you know what? That was great. Let's bring him back. The market isn't what we thought, so let's give him a 2-year, $65 million contract. And that would be front office malpractice. I already said it's front office malpractice to not tag and trade him. I guess the market is what it is, and we'll find out Monday. But in the NFL, the two biggest advantages you have when building a roster are, one, have a Hall of Fame quarterback like a Patrick Mahomes, where, all right, you can shuffle pieces around and you're still going to win 13 games and go to the AFC Championship game every year. The other biggest advantage you can have is a really good, talented quarterback who makes almost nothing, like the Commanders right now, for instance, and it affords you the ability to spend as much as possible in other areas to continue to walk that middle line of, by the way, even if you were to bring Darnold in and, oh man, McCarthy beat him out in training camp or beat him out halfway through the season, you've just wasted 10 to 12% of your salary cap on a backup quarterback then.
Right.
So it doesn't make sense, the latest reporting. If it's them just trying to inflate his value going into Monday, awesome. Okay, go get your comp pick in 2026. If it's them trying to actually bring Darnold back, I think it's a huge mistake.
I think what we originally talked about, if you go back and watch the episodes after the season came to not great end, I think most of what we talked about is going to be correct, which is his value came down. Those last two games hurt him. There's no question. You can't dismiss. You can't say, well, look at the body of work. And then it was just 2 bad games. The plane crashed. Okay. So that's a problem.
Twice.
Yeah. So that's a problem. But that being said, I also think that there is a market for a quarterback in what is a very poor quarterback market. Like, the draft doesn't have 5 guys who are going to be first-round picks. Free agency has some wild card guys, but let's see. Kirk Cousins, who's old and hurt, or Darnold, who's 27? Darnold. I'm taking Darnold. Russell Wilson, I could get him, or Darnold. I'm taking Sam right now. So I think this is one where you just have to allow it to play out. And the reporting in this, it's fun to talk about in some ways, but I think this is one where the reporting is getting in the way.
Yeah, well, and we will all find out likely Monday. I don't know if there's a world where this goes into like Wednesday, Thursday, unless he wants to take visits. Is he going to go take? He already went to Las Vegas for a few days with friends a few weeks ago, which was as it was put to me behind the scenes. Oh, it was just a trip with some friends, some buddies. Yeah, but it's also the team that has the second most cap space, a huge need for quarterback.
Let's suss it out.
And you're hanging with friends, but you're also looking around at the neighborhoods and trying to figure out. Yeah, Cousins is just in town for the Super Bowl. Yeah, and going to drive through Eden Prairie over his lunch break.
And ask yourself this too: if Darnold comes back here, to your point, and McCarthy very well could win the job, is he really satisfied turning a season that should make him money into a backup job on probably a short-term contract?
No, it would be a huge career mistake, right?
There is no common sense there. Like, he would have to be one of the stupidest human beings on the face of the earth.
Because he might get let's say it's 1 year 30, which again would be shocking to me. I still think it's going to be 40 plus. I think this is all posturing. But if it's 1 year 30, JJ beats him out in training camp. Now he has ruined his entire, now he's back to square one. Dude, you just got beat out. You went from 14 wins and 35 touchdowns and got beat in training camp.
It means you have, if he does that too, that means he has zero competitive desire, which flies in the face of everything that we were told.
Yeah.
So
okay, boys.
I want a mock.
This mock draft update is one you've been waiting for here, and it is presented by Black Stack. Black Stack Brewing, great spot, by the way, for gatherings. In fact, we're going to hold a gathering at Black Stack next Thursday to recap the first part of free agency week. Thursday, March 13th, 5 to 7 p.m., the next Purple Daily Unplugged event. You can check it out. The details, you can actually sign up for free tickets right now at scorenorth.com/PD Unplugged. scorenorth.com/PD Unplugged. We do ask that you register so we can have a head count and just keep tabs on how many of these custom pint glasses we're giving out. But would love to see you for our next Purple Daily Unplugged event. And you can get Black Stack beer all over the state of Minnesota and expanded distribution into Wisconsin, Nebraska, South Dakota, and available even during the season inside U.S. Bank Stadium. This is a great place. It's the second largest tap room in the state of Minnesota. They've got a massive 190-inch big screen TV. They've got boozy slushies and hard seltzer cocktails, too, if you need something that isn't just beer. BlackStackBrewing.com to find out more information, and scorenorth.com/PD Unplugged for that event next Thursday. All right, I present to you DraftBlaster.com, the thinking man's guide to the draft. That's right. One of our favorite mock draft websites. Judd, you are muted, by the way.
My bad.
There we go.
I was going to say kickyourassdraft.com, the thinking man's guide to the draft.
Football.
So someone here has a 4-round mock. This is from John Ellsworth.
Okay.
Also, Draft Blaster claiming to be the 6th most accurate mock draft from 2024.
Oh. Wow.
They submitted.
Okay.
That's right. So they have Shadur Sanders going number 1 to the Titans. This is from a couple weeks ago, so maybe this changed during the combine. Abdul Carter to the Browns at number 2. Cam Ward to the Giants at 3. Mm-hmm. And let's go here. The 24th overall pick, according to DraftBlaster.com. The Minnesota Vikings select out of South Carolina University, 6'3", 227-pound safety, Nick Emanwari. Nick Emanwari.
Safety?
Nick E. He's a safety from South Carolina.
Yeah.
The Vikings are aging on their back end. Harrison Smith will be 36 years old. Emanwari had a great season in 2024. He was all over the field for South Carolina. Can play outside linebacker in sub packages as a blitzer.
Football.
Had 88 tackles, a couple passes defended, 4 interceptions, 2 pick sixes. So he's kind of that jack of all trades, a bigger bodied safety that you could also
Like
play
the Georgia
in sub
kid
packages.
that's being sent to the Vikings in a couple of mocks.
Yeah.
There's another Georgia safety.
So there's that. And then we go to the back of the 3rd round here, where the Minnesota Vikings select out of Arizona State University running back Cameron Scadaboo. Scadaboo, who just wreaked havoc on the college football playoff. He had a game where he threw a touchdown, caught a touchdown, ran for a touchdown. He was deathly ill during that game, and he had one of the highest is it the high jump or whatever, where he had like the vertical jump. He had one of the higher vertical.
He jumps high.
He jumps very high. Yeah. So there you go.
I want a mock.
Safety and running back.
I'll entertain the running back. No on the safety.
No on the safety.
No.
Yeah, Cam Scadaboo he'd be fun, man. He'd be fun. Hopefully he would be better than Toby Gerhart, who also put up huge numbers in college.
Chester Taylor.
I just did the white guy running back comp.
Yeah, you did. That's the most trite, easy thing. The safety thing, by the way, I am not biased against like, don't take a safety because I think that the kid's not good. I have no idea. It's the position. Position.
First round. Yeah.
Yeah, like first round, prioritize positions there.
There's also, not that Draft Blaster would know the full inner workings of Judd's camp notes, but the Vikings have Theo Jackson, Jay Ward, who mostly are special teamers, but they like those guys. I think they would be more likely to just elevate one of those guys or multiple than to draft a guy in the first round, a safety in the first round.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, thanks for trying, Draft Blaster.
Nice job. DraftBlaster.com. Okay, don't forget to the OG edition of Write That Down on the Score North YouTube channel today and the Mackie and Judd podcast feed. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.